Darius.
And I'm Maya. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of addicted to my phone and my computer.
We both are. But hey, they do great things.
They're great at waking us up.
They let us have important conversations with our friends.
And they keep us informed about the world.
So yeah, our phones and computers are amazing. But we don't always do amazing things with them.
It's all too common that we hear about our friends being cyberbullied. Or maybe we've even experienced cyberbullying ourselves.
Cyberbullying is any sort of communication through your phone or your computer that's meant to hurt or intimidate another person. If it happens to you, it's hard not to react. And if you're the one doing it, it's easy to forget that you might be hurting a real person.
You never know what someone might be going through. With so much negativity on social media, more and more kids are experiencing anxiety and depression.
And I would never want to be the person who makes that worse.
You've probably heard the phrase, think before you speak, a million times.
But this might be a new one. Think before you post.
The next time you want to say something out of anger or make a joke about someone online, think about how it might feel if it happened to you. You might think they deserve it, or you're just joking around. But what you're about to do is bullying.
If you see it happening to someone else, be courageous enough to speak up for them in a positive way.
In order to stand up for yourself, remember these tips. Block, report, and tell an adult.
Block the person bullying you. Report the abuse if you can. And remember, keep the messages. You might need to show them to an adult.
Tell an adult you trust. They want to help you.
Remember, what we say to each other matters.
Yeah, you never know what someone else might be going through.
And if you're being bullied, it's not your fault. No one has the right to hurt you or make you feel unsafe, online or in person.
Remember,
Block, report, and tell an adult.
Even though it doesn't always feel like it,
there's so much more to life than our phones and social media.
Yes. Hello everyone. Yes, once again, this is Darshana. Just wait for a few minutes. Yes, I will close the tab. Yes, wait for a few minutes. Yes. So, hello everyone. Once again, this is Darshana, and welcome to your own platform, Mission Global Empowerment. So, friends, might be you get idea, right? You saw this video today, and hope did you understand, right? What is our topic? And it's very, very, very crucial and important topic, because you all know we all have kids, or we gone through some stages like kids, teenager, adult, right? So in while that journey, what happened exactly, before that, we just know, like, physically किसी को harass करना, या फिर किसी को torture करना. But hope you understand from this video, the cyber bullying is one more concept, in that things. Basically cyber bullying में होता क्या है, so people troubling online, or might be, especially in teenager, they get harassed or they get bullied from social media, or through mobile, or through computer, or there is a multiple social channel. So today's our topic is so crucial and very important topic, and today we have wonderful and beautiful girl with us. Her name is Rujuta, and she's so pretty. She's 10th grade student. She's from California, USA only. And namaste once again. She's Marathi girl. So, and today I'm so happy to to invite to her this on this platform, because she can share on her thought on this topic. So, Rujuta, over to you, Rujuta. So please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so namaste everyone. I'm Rajitha and I'm a 10th grader attending Mission San Jose High School in Fremont, California in the United States. And yeah, I'm just pleased to just, join you, Darshana, and talk about today's topic about online harassment and cyberbullying. So, yeah.
Yes. So, Rujita, we had a very good call and discussion few days ago with you and your mom, and
Mm,
you shared, some your experience and your story with me.
yeah.
So yes, I think we have today very I think we have today multiple people with us, lot of youngster with us. So I just want to understand from you, or are you able to share your story about cyberbullying?
Yeah, so I'll just give like a brief discussion or summary about my experience. So basically I was just, uh last year, actually January, I was like in my community, and some neighbors were just taking pictures of me without my content. And that kind of just, split that barrier. That was my, private boundary. They can't really go through that. So they crossed my boundaries. And it was when I found out that they were taking pictures, I was pretty shocked. The first reaction, and like I didn't tell any of my parents, and that was a mistake. And I just went through everything through my own. And basically, my neighbor took pictures of me. He might have been in bushes or anything, and I was just playing outside, of course, with my friends. And he took pictures of me and then explicitly edited those. So that was just, when I saw those pictures, it was just, shocking again. And I didn't know what to do at that moment, because like I was just really scared. And it would just, I was frozen, completely frozen. And one of his friends really helped me out throughout everything. And I'm just really thankful for that as well. So yeah, that was just mostly what I went through. But I would say to like people who have gone through like harassment or sexual harassment or cyberbullying, like just don't do it on your own. Don't just tell your parents, because, or any other trusted adult, because it's just not okay to go through it on your own. Like they're always there to help you. Your parents, like they just immediately called 911. Instead, they just immediately took that action. So it was really helpful. The parents came to our house. I showed all the evidence to the police, like the pictures and everything in the text. And so I think that really helped. And it was a really scary experience for me. So just going through that on my own and solving everything, I also confronted the person who took the pictures of me, and they never wanted to admit, that they took the pictures, until like I just kept on asking them in the night. And it was just like, yeah, kind of just traumatizing. But I kind of just went through that. Even like it was during school, so it was like I couldn't really focus on my studies because like this happened. So I even told my English teacher about it, actually, and he kind of empathized like for me. So he gave me like I had an essay to do, so like he extended the deadline because like he knew what happened. So he really like understood, because he's really like he's aware of this topic in our school. And we do have news articles and like newspapers that talk about harassment and everything. It does happen in our school. There are about like a lot of girls, they shared their stories on Instagram, and I also shared my story anonymously. So that was also like a big thing for me. But I just felt happy that I like put it out there. And I also want to like inspire other people to, just put your story out there. And everyone's there to help you. You're not going to be ashamed or anything. It's not embarrassing. Everyone has gone through something or another. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this question. Yeah. I think you're on mute. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, that's really good. Actually, Rujita, I think hats off to you, the way you are speaking, the way you are, discussing with us
Thank
these
you.
things. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, as a girl, we always, get hesitate to we should share with someone or
Mhm.
not, right? So
Yeah.
basically, anything happen, it's blame come over to us, right? So,
Hmm.
but it's very wonderful you explain, right? We need to tell our parents. We need to discuss this.
Right.
We should not hesitate, right? So
Exactly.
here is most of the parent is there, and there is a multiple parents, they have the teenager kids. So I just, recommended you all, always having that good relationship with your child, or, that friendliness, so they can speak about that things, right? Like Rujuta said, right? She gone through many things, or she gone through situation, but she trying to handle her own. But I think, that's a really huge mistake, because we don't
Mhm.
want to, like, that expand that issue, right? We really want to close as soon as possible. And more than that issue, I think, we that kids basically, they are suffering from this situation. So it's very very important to always aware your kids, before that situation, or might be, like, we are discussing with them multiple things, right? Might be it's a teenagers, or sometimes, the youngsters or college going kids, right? We always discuss with them, and speaking different subject, but sometimes we are really forgot to talk about this subject. If anything happen, we are with you, just so in that terms and condition, I recommended you all parents or kids, always having that open discussion with your family. So it's very very important, so they can help you to come out of from that situation. So yeah, hats off to you, Rujuta, and you did really great job. And yes, I
Yeah.
think my next question to you, Rujuta. Actually, according in that discussion, you told me before that, right now you are thinking to build your own community against that, that cyberbullying, or you have some vision and mission. You want to use, build your own, what we can say, that campaign, right?
Yeah.
So can you please, we really want to help you in that term also, but can you please throw the light on that part? So basically, what's your going on in your mind, what kind of community you're building, what's help you required, and what's his vision and mission of that campaign?
Yeah, so basically, I'm planning on just starting an organization based on my experience where we're planning on making a website, our team, and I think just publicizing my story first on the platform so people can understand what I went through and why I'm starting this organization. So that's basically my idea as of now. And just to establish that credibility again, and also just networking people who have experienced social media harassment, social dilemmas, anything, bullying, cyberbullying. I want people to just really talk about this and explain their stories on. We have blog posts as well, so we might just write blogs. If people are not comfortable in like sharing their stories, we might have like a Google form, and people can put their stories on there, and we can write it on the website anonymously if people don't want their names to be put
Disclose.
on the website. And
Yeah.
basically, our mission statement is we want to bring both girls and boys, because boys also, face harassment and
Yes.
bullying, of course. So it's not only girls, to share their stories, speak up, and just invite them to speak about cyberbullying, again, harassment, digital abuse. And we just want it, these little changes can really add up to this cause, this topic. And, if you're in that situation, we can prevent you from happening. And we have like tips and guidelines, like, just like going to a parent or asking a parent if you're going through this. So we're just going to be talking about that mostly. And then we might have like a publicist who publicizes stories on like either like TikTok or Instagram, or we have like we're going to make a account for that as well, or a writer as well who wants to like, we might also make podcasts. We might interview people. So that's basically the plan right now. And I think just my goal is just to make this globally as well. So I mean, I know you're here to help, and just inviting people from all over the world to again share their experiences. We have maybe chapter leads as well. They can start their own chapters in their school. So yeah, just fun
Super,
things.
super, super. Great idea, Rujuta. And yes, we all with you, and you will get definitely great support, because your intention is pure, your mission is really great, because it's not an easy to, build organization, in terms of cyber crime, or,
Yeah.
cyber bullying. But you are really doing the great job. So, I think, couple of our parents having one question to you. I think this is really great question, actually.
Yeah.
What's your parents' reaction? The situation is happen.
Yeah.
At that time. So, what's your parents' reaction? Somebody asking.
Yeah, so like one day, I think after a week or two, basically when I told them, I was like just having a meltdown. I was just crying and telling them everything because I was just holding all that pain again. So they were just like really shocked again. They were like screaming like, "Oh my God, Rajita, what? How did this happen?" They were like just astonished to see that it was the neighbor like right next to us who was doing all of this and just taking pictures. They were like, what? So yeah, it was really disturbing as well when I showed them the pictures as well. So they were just really depressed and sad. But then I think after that, they were just like, my aunt, I went to her house and she just told me a simple explanation, just call like the police and just tell them about your case. And so we did. And it went from there. And then after, when we told the police and when I showed, I would just like really I just felt, relaxed. I was just like, I'm finally like, I let this out to everyone. I didn't have to hold it in anymore. And yeah, that was
Wow, wow, that's really great. And as a parent, we can understand that feeling of the parent, right?
yeah,
Because parents would like to see like their kid like suffering from like anyone, like might be it's not only for the cybercrime or cyberbully, but anywhere, like in suppose in society also, or our kids playing outside also, in that time also, if anybody like bully or like kidding to our kids, we definitely feel bad. But I think in this kind of situation we should not get emotional, right? Yeah,
yeah,
it's happening because we all are human beings, nothing is wrong in that. But we need to be enough strong, because you never know, right, what situation come next, right? And
yeah,
it's really
exactly.
common, because like you, if you see Rujuta right now, see everything has a two aspects, positive or negative. Same with the technologies right now, technology helping us to in COVID situation for learning and online schooling and teaching. But apart from that, if you see, there is again negative impact, right? Like as you spoke on, right? So people are
Yeah,
general youngster youth, I think majority time spent on the social media only. So again, it's not good idea, right? So rather
yeah,
than
exactly.
studying, if they are completely engaged with the social media, or doing the wrong thing or bad job, it's completely wrong. So I think it's a worldwide issue, Rujuta.
Yeah,
And whatever, we saw that video, right? They are giving the very nice tips to protecting their kids, right?
like,
Or might
yeah,
be, yeah, yeah. So it's multiple. I think we need to aware our kids before teenager, I guess so, because they need to understand how to they can defend that situation. See, not
mm,
today's like any situation, if you not if we not give them that mental health, it very difficult to handle that situation. We
yeah,
saw
exactly.
because of
So,
lot of bullies, that youth or teenagers also get suicide, right? Multiple times we saw
yeah,
that newspaper in India also. But one more thing I want to make you clear here all. I think there is a law against that social bullies, or that cyber crime. So we need to take the help, and we need to be aware, we need to understand the media sometimes well, we need to spread the awareness of this thing, because these things right now is very common. We should not shy, we should not hesitate. We should have clear communication with parents, with kids, even though college, school, we should have that kind of parent counseling. And it is very, very important. So Rujuta, my next question to you, Rujuta, like if we have like the multiple youngsters are outside, right? And it's definitely we love to contribute to your organization, and support globally whatever you are building. But apart from that, like I just want to understand from here one more question about your study also, right? Because whenever you go on through some situation, you are getting impacted everywhere, right? So
mhm.
how's a little bit study matter here, and this campaign, it will really help you in your future, or yes, it's a social thing, but apart from that, it will contribute in your study part.
So
Can you
yeah,
please
it's like mostly I'm actually really interested in like the field of like psychology as well. So just like understanding people's mindset, why would you do that in the first place? I think I'm really just interested in that part of the like the studies, what we were talking about. But I feel like just having like a leadership position in our school, it just like it shows that you are confident and that you can be a leader when you're like when you're an adult too, and it shows that really strong quality that you can prove. So that's why when I'm starting this organization, my public speaks will be my public speaking will be coming in, and then leadership quality. So all of these will just shine through while I'm starting this organization, and just networking people. So these are all qualities that really
so
that's what college is really like. And just yeah, that's mostly.
superb, superb. You're today's girl, so confident, and you are leader. Rujuta.
Yeah,
It's not like you will or you can be. You are leader, because we all know the way you are speaking, the way you are sharing your thought, the way
yeah,
you have the vision and mission clarity. It's really hats off to you, because it's not an easy to get that clear understanding right now in
mhm,
this situation. because us, if we think about ourselves, I think it takes too much time to get that awareness and that, that vision mission clear
Yeah,
get clear.
exactly. Yeah.
But so proud of you, dear, the way
Yeah, thank
you are,
you.
superb, superb. And
Yeah.
yes, it's very nice your thought process, and you talk about little bit leadership, because sometimes India we just know about that, the theoretical part, or we have a lot of pressure for assignment and that
Right.
study part. Then basically 10, 12 grade we have a board exams and entrance exam. So can you just little bit throw light on that, the education system right now you are taking here, the 10th grade, or how you will get any specialization if you want to go engineer, or if you want to go medical side. So what preparation you are doing right now, or it should not required till 10th? Can you please throw light on that part?
Yeah. So I'm also gonna I'm going to major in computer science. So in our school, it's like everyone it wants to go into computer science, but computer science is like such a big topic. It's such a broad topic. You really need to understand exactly which area you want to go into. So you have to just do stuff that you are really like just passionate about. So I'm really interested in like data science and like just the languages in general, like Python and stuff. So just research, I'm really interested in that as well. So I just really want to dive into that. Just sticking to like one or two topics in computer science. Like I also like web development as well. So I just want to focus on that. So I think focusing on 2 to 3 areas will just be helpful for me if I want to major in computer science and just going further in that. Yeah.
Great, great, great job. I think you are, I think we call before that multiple student. We call before that Grace to talk upon that, that study and all part. And you again share very well and very well presented. I think our topic is very crucial today. But
Yeah.
apart from that, Rujuta, I just want to, the one message, from you to our all teenagers, whatever in terms of study, in terms of cyberbullying, or in terms of, holistic development, or facing challenges or new issue. So what you want to say about them?
So are you asking about like the mission statement for my organization?
Yeah, tell me whatever you want to say to everybody, because see,
Yeah.
everybody the culture, everywhere the culture is different. If you see in India, there is a different culture in terms of study, in terms of leadership, in terms of the college, or everywhere, right? If you see Singapore, it's a different little bit. If you see US, is a different. So what one message you want to give to the teenager like you, in any
Yeah. So
any
I
any
think
subject?
for like specifically teenagers, I think just yeah, stick to social media, but like just you can have fun in your life. You should also have fun, of course, but also just mostly just focus on your studies because this is your time. You only have 4 years of high school and just make it, you can either make it or break it. So just really focus on that, but you can have fun as well. But I feel like stay away from like just make sure be aware of your surroundings, whoever's around you. If someone just like look, if you see like someone just staring at you in like a weird way, immediately just go or just like ask them. If you have the guts to do it, just ask them like, why are you like staring at me or whatever. And if someone else is getting hurt, like there's street harassment as well. So like there's like physical harassment as well outside. So if you see someone going through that, if you see that, immediately take action. So there was like this ad that I saw on street harassment, and I also just got inspired by that as well because I have friends who have like faced that as well. So experienced that, and some people were just bystanders. They never took the initiative to like step in and help. So I just really want people to really take the action if someone's going through that. Just don't let them feel left out or whatever, because they need the help if they're going through
Superb,
that.
superb, superb. Yes. Absolutely true. I think one thing is very clear here. I think to I really want to share with all parents, because what happens sometimes, we are very innocent, but with that innocentness we need to have smart, right? See, is I think it's very very important, like as you spoken, right? If you're going somewhere, if you saw somebody commenting you bad, or
Yeah.
somebody torturing you, So you need to have that, handle that situation very polite way. See, until and unless, you should not worry whatever people speak. If you know
Yeah.
who you are and what you stand for, it's very, very important. So your up self-image should be up, right? So for that,
Mhm.
we need to help them not only for the curriculum to, for their kids, but we need
Mhm.
to help to understand that, that value-based system in terms of boys also or girls also. Like
Right.
sometimes the situation could be a vice versa, right? Sometimes, girls get bullied, sometimes boys get bullied too, right? But in that term, we need to understand, right, how, see, everybody's is not that equal, and we cannot treat same way, but it's happening, right? So in that terms and condition, I'm thinking, right, like suppose I have one son too. So it's very, very important, build him, that care, that care about, someone, that respect about the girls, because right, you have, everybody's have their, girl at their home, might be their
Mhm.
maternal, might be real sister, or your mom. So as a mom or as a parent, we need to have that, the responsibility. Actually, we need to understand that thing, and we need to give that value to our kids, right? Sometimes still, it's not happen, but we need to give our 100%. And I'm suggesting all the parents here, see, suppose your daughter or your son suffering from this issue, so don't be like, hesitate, right? And don't
Yeah.
worry about what people says or what people do. Or, it's very, very important, because until and unless it's your own life, don't give your remote control to somebody's hand ki they will, press it and you will get hurt, right?
Right.
This is a common situation right now. Everybody's using social media or something. So we need to understand. And for in terms of social media and condition, I really want to tell to other people to, watch few videos for to awareness, how you can, suppose in Facebook or Instagram, people are sometimes bad commenting, so remove that
Yeah.
comment. Every time you should not go and fight with them, right? Because you are not like them.
Yeah.
So it's
Just
very
ignore the comments.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, if you there is have the multiple security, multiple laws in place. You can block them, you can, remove them. Multiple things are there. So you should be like, enough mature to, handle that situation. And sometimes we should not, but yes, don't hesitate, don't worry, don't feel guilt. Overcome that situation, learn from that mistakes, and never do it again. I think that's the best
Yeah.
things. Yeah, and Rujuta, my last question to ask you, what about, say you want to, this platform, because first time I saw some, that girls coming so boldly like Jhansi Ki Rani, and she's,
Yeah.
she's her thoughts, it's very well presented, lots of clarity, vision, and it's very bold the way you handle. And I spoken with your mom also. I think she's gone. Something has happened. Okay, that's fine. So, friends, hope did you understand? Might be there is some network issue. So, yeah, our question is to
Yeah.
in between. Might be your network got frozen.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, just share your thoughts about this platform, because first time you're expressing yourself, and I love to listen you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, the global yeah, so your platform is like really good. I think it just really we can just speak openly about like any topic, and these live sessions really help, so anyone can like have their opinions or anything. They can express their opinions through the comments. So like I think this platform is like really good just to like talk about anything, publicize anything. You really help and like, like just you just really talk freely as well, like when you're interviewing. So like I think it's just really comfortable talking to you as well, because like some interviewees are like, they're kind of like, intimidating, because like they ask you like really personal questions, and it just like but then I think because you're just really different from that. So yeah, this hats off to you.
Yeah. Rujita, you are like my daughter, and I can understand that feeling, because I gone through same, stage of fear, right? Or I gone through
Yeah.
same situation. But the thing is that, if you are enough, and now you have enough maturity to handle, so don't worry, we all with you. And for if anything happen with anyone, with your friends, and for your campaign, for your organization, our support will be there. And you have really enough, maturity level right now, and you
Mhm.
know very well, if you need any help in that times, the terms and condition, we
Yeah.
should be always there with you. And apart from that, it's very important, like, if you want share your thoughts or awareness on the cyberbullying every week, you can come our platform, and please share that awareness, spread that awareness. It will
Yeah.
really help to build your self image up, and others people too, because everybody not like you come there and speak, right? See, the
Right.
purpose
Right.
of this discussion is not interview, it's something like interacting, basically,
Yeah.
understand each other, share that feeling. because we get that support from outside. It will be like double power for us, right? And
Exactly.
so proud of you. You very I
Yeah.
had very good time with you. I
Yeah,
think
you
you,
too.
yeah, you will be the motivation and inspiration lot of girls today, and hope the people are watching and watching. I think this kind of issue we are bringing on the table. I think it's not an easy, but yes, Rujuta, thank you so much once again. You're coming here, but we
Yeah.
love to see you again and again here, and whatever the support you like globally, or or if from youth. We have multiple people are leader in India to Singapore too. I have multiple lot of friends
Mhm.
and a lot of the entrepreneur with us. Definitely, we love to contribute. Just let us know what we can do, and yes, we will be there. Thank you so much, Rajat.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Most
It
welcome.
was
Most welcome. Bye. Bye. Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Yeah. Thank you for joining.